In recent days, Houthi rebels in Yemen have released a bold video challenging the U.S. Navy. In the video, Houthi fighters, armed with rifles, shout slogans while patrolling on boats, displaying an unstoppable aura as if they intend to overturn U.S. aircraft carriers. The confidence of the Houthi rebels stems from their anti-ship missiles, especially ballistic missiles, which disrupted the Red Sea region significantly in December. For instance, on December 16th, the rebels launched a ballistic missile at a cargo ship flying the Liberian flag, causing a fire confirmed by the U.S. Department of Defense. This isn't the first time the Houthis used ballistic missiles against ships, but it highlights the challenges of hitting moving targets at sea. However, when faced with U.S. warships, the rebels seem powerless. On October 16th, the USS Carney intercepted 14 drones launched from Yemen, and on the same day, another destroyer, the USS Mason, was targeted with 2 ballistic missiles that missed their mark. The frequent attacks by the Houthis in the Red Sea have severely impacted global trade, affecting 10% to 15% of shipping routes through the Red Sea, according to General Lade, a Pentagon spokesperson. In response, the U.S. established the Red Sea Alliance, with over 20 countries joining the Prosperity Guardian operation. Currently, at least 3 Burke-class destroyers from the U.S. patrol the Red Sea, including the mentioned USS Carney and USS Mason. These destroyers, equipped with 96 vertical launch units, are among the world's most powerful warships capable of launching various air defense missiles. The Advanced Standard Missile 3, with a range exceeding 1,000 kilometers, can intercept intercontinental ballistic missiles. The Houthis seem to recognize the U.S. naval strength, as they have been less inclined to target U.S. warships directly, focusing instead on merchant ships in the Red Sea. This might be due to their awareness that anti-ship missiles cannot inflict substantial damage on U.S. vessels. Meanwhile, U.S. aircraft carriers, such as the USS Ford in the eastern Mediterranean and the Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group in the nearby Arabian Sea, have been on frequent combat missions. The USS Ford conducted 2,489 flight operations in less than 60 days, while the Eisenhower carried out 2,051 sorties between October 9th and December 7th. As reported by the Associated Press, the U.S. currently has 19 naval vessels in the Middle East, with at least 7 in the eastern Mediterranean and the main 12 deployed near the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. The U.S. actions so far have been restrained, mainly providing escort to passing merchant ships and intercepting missiles targeting them. However, there is the possibility of future precision strikes on missile launch sites and radar stations within Yemen using guided bombs or cruise missiles. It's worth noting that in 2016, the U.S. launched cruise missiles to destroy 3 radar stations along Yemen's coast, as reported by Qatar's Al Jazeera. Apart from the United States, the United Kingdom has deployed the Diamond-class destroyer to the Red Sea region. Last week, this destroyer used Sea Viper air defense missiles to shoot down a drone. Meanwhile, the French multi-purpose frigate Languedoc has been on missions in the Arabian Sea and the Red Sea since December 8, intercepting at least 3 Yemeni drones, one of which targeted a Norwegian cruise ship. Additionally, Italy announced the early deployment of the frigate Faison to the Red Sea. Faison is a European multi-purpose frigate jointly developed by Italy and France, also known as FREM, later becoming the U.S. Constellation-class frigate. I visited this frigate during the New York Fleet Week earlier this year. In the photo I took on board, you can clearly see the vertical launch system and the Otobrita main gun at the front of the ship. It can launch Aster air defense missiles with a range of 120 kilometers, capable of intercepting cruise missiles. Another photo shows the Faison carrying an NH-90 medium-sized anti-submarine helicopter, a German-French collaboration. Italy's FREM has 2 hangars, with the larger one capable of carrying a 15-ton EH-101 heavy helicopter. Other NATO countries, such as Spain and Germany, have not made decisions yet. However, many Arab countries from the Gulf region, with Saudi Arabia as a representative, are likely to participate in escort operations. In the ongoing Yemen conflict, Saudi Arabia has been openly supporting the Yemeni government forces, while Iran supports the Houthi rebels in northern Yemen. The conflict between Saudi Arabia and the Houthi rebels has been ongoing for almost a decade. Saudi Arabia's introduction of Patriot missiles deployed around its capital intercepted missiles aimed at Saudi oil fields from Yemen. So, Saudi Arabia's participation in this operation is not unexpected, and other Gulf countries, such as Kuwait, the UAE, Bahrain, are likely to follow suit. Interestingly, regarding this alliance, although the U.S. requested Australia to send a warship to the Red Sea, it's likely that Australia may not execute the task. The current Albanese government in Australia has explicitly stated that Australia's focus is on the Indo-Pacific region. Australia told the U.S. that, amid continuous harassment by the Chinese Navy towards foreign naval vessels and aircraft, the Australian Navy needs to ensure freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. In November, an Australian warship, while crossing the Taiwan Strait and South China Sea, had nearby Chinese warships use sonar to harm Australian divers conducting underwater operations. Australia might not participate, and I also know of a country that won't join this joint operation, China. In early December, an Israeli ship was attacked in the Arabian Sea, sending distress signals. There were 3 Chinese warships in the nearby waters, but they chose not to help. Eventually, the U.S. destroyer USS Mason came to the rescue and captured 5 terrorists. This incident reflects the Chinese military's attitude towards the current Red Sea conflict. The Houthi rebels in Yemen, backed by Iran, imported these missiles from Iran, and the missile technology itself comes from China, especially the so-called anti-ship ballistic missiles. China has a strong alliance with Iran, making Iran China's most important political ally in the Middle East. Combined with the anti-US and anti-Israel sentiments brewing in China in recent decades, China is unlikely to join peacekeeping operations in the Red Sea region. In the wars of the past 2 years, be it the Ukraine conflict, the Israel-Hamas clashes, or the recent attacks by Houthi rebels on civilian cargo ships in the Red Sea, the Chinese Communist Party has consistently sided with dictators and aggressors. It's becoming increasingly clear to more countries that the CCP is the disruptor of peace.